Women, boys and girls, men and women, children of all ages, we welcome you to another episode of the NFL Matchup Madness. As you can see, for now I'm riding solo. I've been in the big boys here before, so I think we'll be fine. And below me, I have joining me today our resident Ravens aficionado.
Hey, hey, hey.
And a big game coming up this week, sir. You
Yes,
will be playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, as I
third.
affectionately like to refer to them, on Thursday nights. So, talk
Right.
to us about that game, man. How are you feeling about it? Um, what do you think is the ways you could win? What do you think are the ways that the Bucks can turn their travesty of the season so far, which I enjoy watching, honestly, around?
Um, I think we can win. I think because we have so many issues with inconsistency. We have red zone issues. They're the number two run defense. We have to like to run the football. We haven't looked good. We haven't looked good at all in terms of assessing and getting to our weapons. Mark Andrews has had the last two games has been rough. Defense actually has played much better. It's the offense that can drive down the field sometimes, but it's given me Joe Flacco 2016 to 2018 type vibes. And that offense was a huge issue for me. You know what I mean? So just want to just get back on track. You know, get back to what we are. And Lamar's got to stop forcing it. He's got to stop being so hesitant. Sometimes you got to make those reads. He was doing good the first couple games, but these last couple games, he's just doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. So
So, from Tampa Bay's perspective, what will Tampa Bay be able to do in this game? How can they assert themselves to beat you guys?
shoot, it's Tom Brady. There's not a defense he has team. There's not a coverage, a blitz he has. If he just does what he normally does, I think he's going to have some success in the intermediate routes in the intermediate game for us. We don't stop the run as good as we used to. We can give up chunks. We don't get somebody to get like 50, 60 yards, but Leonard Fournette can get 10, 15 yards or average like 4 or 5 yards to carry, which will make it very difficult for my defense because the biggest issue for my defense is attrition. You know, if you keep pounding the rock on us, you keep pounding it, it's a close game, eventually they're going to get tired. You know, our best defensive lineman by most people's standards is an aging veteran in Calais Campbell. You know, so it's like if they run, Tom Brady, as bad as they look, they still commit to running the football. They run the football and they convert on third down, which most teams have been figuring a way to do that with us. It looks like it's going to be that's a good way for them to settle and have a good chance to win.
So, we got a comment here. One of the QBs in the game needs to show up finally. That's actually,
Both of them.
yeah, that's definitely actually pretty solid assumption or assertion. I would agree with. I would say there's one quarterback that you don't want to touch, and that would be Tom Brady. We've seen that Tom Brady gets the most egregious, and I mean egregious, calls for roughing the passer. It's just a joke. I've said for years you can't touch the guy literally, and it's literally getting to that point. But you know beforehand, so you have to adapt how you play when you're playing one of the league guys that they're not going to let you touch. So I know we had a little bit of breaking news happen with your Ravens. J.K. Dobbins is out for 4 to 6 weeks. So how do you feel that that's going to affect you guys' running game, or is your committee still going to be strong with the return of Gus Edwards?
I think it's still going to be strong because guys seem to have hold up. He seems stronger than J.K. Dobbins, and he seems to have hold up much better. He's been out longer than Gus Edwards. I mean, than J.K.
Yeah.
Gus Edwards was out for an extra 30 or 35 days more than J.K. Dobbins was. So he's a lot more healthier than J.K. in my opinion when he got in. from what I read, J.K. just has to. It's like just clearing out some bad tissue to make him feel a little bit better. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. It's not going to be an easy game. The only thing that I tell Ravens fans is we are prime time. So you know we're about to get trolled anytime Lamar makes a mistake or doesn't hit the right read. So just be ready for it. Make mistakes because when you're inconsistent, it's bound to happen. And we don't look like we're showing any signs of censoring our problems and getting back on track.
Well, I'll say this for your Ravens, sir. I just made a trade for Lamar Jackson. They discounted him a little bit because of what happened this past week. So I'm hoping that Lamar will put up some nice fantasy points for me this week. You guys winning, would probably be a byproduct of that, so I would not be upset about it. But the main thing is, Lamar, I need you so that I can win fantasy football. I've tied myself to your horse. I believe that you can turn this around. So please, Lamar, look out for your boy.
Back to what he did. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people have him. My friend was like, he about to drop him. I was like, yeah. Honestly, can't blame you. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope he does. He got to get back on track. Just got to focus and play his game.
Well, I mean, I was able to trade him for David Carr and Amari Cooper. So I feel like I should get good return on what I gave up. So
I hope so.
Yeah. As do I would not have made the trade. So, JJ, appreciate you coming on, man. Appreciate you hanging out with us this week. We'll see you next week. Make sure you hop in the comments on YouTube. Let everybody know where they can find you.
All right, man. You guys have a good one.
And you get some rest, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and quickly transition to the next matchup. Here we have our Jaguars representative, Kyle Nash, and our Broncos insider, we're going to call him, Ian McClintock. How's it going, guys? Kyle, I think you're muted.
Yeah, glad to be aboard. Cool. Glad to be in the place. And Ian, listen, whatever I say before this, understand that long before the season started and still to this moment, I am a proponent of Russell Carrington Wilson. So you don't have to worry about too much smack talk from me. I don't know if he's playing in this game, but that's still where I live. I'm just saying.
Oh, don't worry about it. Shoot, I'm just glad for the first time in 8 weeks I actually have somebody else to talk to for a couple minutes about the matchup.
Hey, you finally earned the prime time spot better than your team did. I like it.
Hey, I had prime time for 7 straight weeks by myself right here, so.
He's not lying. He's not lying. He's not lying.
Not at all. But yeah, no, I mean, it's good to be here. Obviously wish both, at least my team was in a better position. I'm sure Kyle feels the same way with both our teams coming in on 4-game losing streaks. So obviously something has to give. And, it's going to be an early wake-up call. For at least for me, it's going to be 7:30 a.m. kickoff time for me Sunday morning. So it's going to be a full day of football.
It definitely will be. I may actually even get up and watch it myself. I'll be in Philadelphia at the Eagles-Steelers game. So excited about that.
There you go.
But Kyle, quick topic we'd love to get your take on here.
Sure.
I know we're here to talk the matchup, but had a little trade that went down. Little running back was removed from you guys' team, and a nice draft pick is going to be there to replace him. So what are your thoughts on that, man?
Absolutely, man. Cool. I'm glad you brought that to attention. I actually had written a piece going and covering that game, talking about Travis Etienne and propping him up. And in that piece, I hinted that there might be some possibility for James Robinson to be traded. Unfortunately, that trade happened before that article went out, so I had to change some things. But as that would turn out, listen, but based on the fact that Travis Etienne had all the carries statistically. The only carry J-Rob had yesterday was on something that was penalized, so it came back, and so it didn't make the stat sheet. Only took 17% of the snaps in that game, by the way. So, yeah, it looked fishy. And then pairing that with Doug Peterson's comments after the game, there was some breadcrumbs you could kind of read in the air that foreshadowed it. And sure enough, me and my buddy Travis Holmes, we basically called it. Now, didn't expect the price to be this cheap for mere, crumbs of a draft pick. I would have liked to see, let's say, a second or third tier defensive back to help with the secondary in Jacksonville there. But yeah, I mean, sure, but at least with this being a contract year for J-Rob, they got something for him. So you can say that.
Mhm.
And NTN, listen, I said it since the preseason. He's been looking better literally every snap he's taken. Now got 100 yards, still fifth overall on the team in receiving yards as well. Top amongst players that aren't wide receivers on that squad. NTN is the future. And listen, while people may have mocked the pick at the time as Trevor's teammate and all that other stuff in the same draft, yada, yada, well, now somebody else is going to have to write another Christmas card about that draft over and above them getting it wrong with Trayvon Walker, as I've talked about on this show plenty of times leading into it.
Fair enough. Now, questions for both of you guys. So we're entering the 8th week. Both had some tough weeks the past few weeks. We'll start with you, Ian. What can you guys do to turn things around and earn that much-needed victory this week?
Complete an actual pass, block some people, not fumble. No, I mean, realistically, honestly, I think last week kind of showed the blemish that everybody was assuming that was really Russ, and it's not. So this is really going to come down to, is Hackett ever going to finally change it up to where it truly needs to be? Because Brett Rippon, for what he was asked to do, I thought he did a fine job. But, we all saw it after the first half. It just went stale again. So it's just going to be a matter of, can we go ahead and switch up that play calling? But not only that, our offensive line, it's always been the question of our team this entire season. And now we know for sure that Cameron Fleming, who was supposed to be our starting right tackle, he's for sure going to be out. So, just go ahead and add on another injury to our list. It sure as heck seems that it's either us or Los Angeles that just has the injury bug for sure. We might be down a corner, a linebacker. Obviously the whole question around, is it truly going to be Russ's time to come back and start again, or is it going to be another round of ripping? And not only that, after seeing Latavius Murray and what he did on Sunday, I don't even know if Melvin Gordon's going to be the starter this week. So there's just so many different questions on the offensive side, because defensively, I am not worried one bit, because our defense has been our anchor every single game. Because if you look at all 5 of our losses, outside of the Las Vegas loss, all the other 4 losses have been 1-score games. So it's not like we're getting absolutely smoked, but it's been our defense that has been keeping us in the game. I hope that they've had some kind of a come-to-Jesus moment before they got on the plane to go to London to try to get it together, because the defense can't play both sides of the ball forever.
I just want to acknowledge the fact that you said the come to Jesus moment. Love it. Definitely appreciate it.
Something's got to happen, right?
Absolutely. Kyle, what are your thoughts, man?
No, hey, listen, Ian's on point with a lot of that, and say what you will about the games being close in the losses. You got some close ones in the win column too, and on the strength of keeping the points low, holding the 49ers example to 10 points, even when you can only come up with 11, that's insane. By the way, teams that have been relying a lot on defense in certain games, of course, I have to bring it over to Jacksonville. And until that secondary was exposed, like Janet Jackson in a halftime show, you didn't really see a situation where they were challenged a lot offensively. Heck, this week, Saquon Barkley was contained for most of the game, and the only thing that made that break was Daniel Jones was running for 100 yards. Say that in a sentence out loud. You don't think that's a thing that's going to happen going into a game. But I say all that to say this. You talk about a come-to-Jesus meeting, Ian. They're going to need some miracles to stop that defensive front. Let me tell you what, with all the injuries, that's what makes me concerned. Here, let me show you my offensive line credentials. Yeah, that's how I know I worry about the offensive line in that situation, okay? Trayvon Walker, you've heard me talk about it. Josh Allen, Arden Key, these are guys that attack the quarterback. But the one thing you have going for you, my friend, is about the mistakes the Jacksonville Jaguars do it. By the way, another fun fact, they always seem to do it on 3rd and long when they have the drive squared away. It's a rough situation, whether it be a rookie like Trayvon Walker who makes an unfortunate mistake or a team captain who goes in Foye Oluokun, who gets nicks the helmet of Danny Dimes to cancel out an interception on 3rd and long. This is a thing that happens. The Giants had a bad game last week with 8 penalties. The Jags had 13 over Etienne fumbling a ball out of the end zone. Listen, you want to know the Jags' worst enemy? And I mean, no offense to your Broncos, Ian, but it is the Jaguars themselves in this game. They need to tighten up if they want to lock this game down. Bottom line, full period, end of story.
Well, definitely makes a lot of sense to me, guys. I appreciate you both hopping on. Definitely make sure you go on YouTube. Let everybody know where they can find you. But before you guys leave, I'm just going to have you sit here with me for a moment, and I'm just going to talk a little Falcons, Panthers, right? I mean, if you guys want to chime in with something, feel free, But for me,
let's go PJ Walker. Mr. XFL, let's go.
So I was very impressed with PJ Walker this week, and I haven't been a fan of PJ Walker in the NFL because he hasn't done a lot up until this past week. So I asked myself, is it a fluke, or is he just needing the right opportunity and the right coach to kind of pull some of that out of him? So I'm going to say I don't think you perform as well as he did last week, making the throws as necessary just out of nowhere, and you can't, repeat that. He didn't go out there and have like a 400-yard, game, throws 5 touchdowns or anything like that. But he managed the game. He made throws when they were needed. And he helped his team get a much-needed win for an organization that was very deflated. You lost your head coach. You traded your best player. PJ Walker goes out there and steps up and looks better than Baker Mayfield running the offense. So, I'm interested to see if that's going to continue for another week or if that was just kind of like a flash in the pan, just everything kind of worked together, and Tampa Bay didn't play very well that week either. Well, and on the flip side,
buddy, if I might cut in real quick, let's talk about this.
Have at it.
You as an Eagles fan have seen the NFC East be a struggling division. Well, now most of your teams, not counting the Red Tails, the Commanders, have evolved to the next level, and this is a better division. The division that replaced the NFC least as it was, this NFC South. And with that in mind, my friend, anything is possible, especially with that Falcons defense and Marcus Mariota at quarterback. Don't rule out your dude Walker, Ian. This is a thing that could happen.
Yeah, this could be interesting. I would love to see PJ Walker be the guy there, at least for the rest of the season, and show what he has, because it would bring interest. It would bring excitement. The play is different when he's there. You've got the 2 guys kind of sharing a load at running back now, Hubbard and Foreman. So you've got 2 guys back there. The big power guy, the change of pace fast guy who still has some of the same skills. I'm not attempting to put him on the same level whatsoever, but some of the same skills that McCaffrey had. So I think that the Panthers may be a better team after the trade and after getting rid of Matt Rule, just because it opens up so much for other people. I think maybe Baker Mayfield getting, injured. Don't ever want to see someone get injured, but that may be something that's a positive for him, right? Just because of what we've seen so far from Baker Mayfield in a Carolina Panthers uniform. On the other hand, the Falcons, I mean, you've got weapons, you got to use them, right? Like Atlanta, you have to learn to use your weapons. You don't have Cordero Patterson. I understand that was like the safety blanket for Mariota. And yeah, it hurts on my fantasy squads as well. I have them on a couple of teams, but at the end of the day, you've got Kyle Pitts. You've got a great young group of wide receivers. You have to get them the ball, Mariota. If you cannot do that, you're not going to be the quarterback there. Heck, might not even maybe for the rest of the season. So to me, this game, obviously a divisional game, it comes down to which team do I think is going to do more offensively, as well as which team I think will be able to get some stops defensively. I'm going to give the offense slightly to the Panthers based off what I've seen, with the motivation. I'm going to give the team defensively. I'm going to give this game, though, on the other side. because I do think that while Atlanta doesn't have an amazing defense, it is better than the Panthers right now because their front four does get pressure. They do attack the quarterback, and they're going to make it more uncomfortable for him than the Panthers defense is going to be able to do. So I'm going to say defense wins games, and I'm going to go Atlanta, but in a very close game, 3 points or less.
I'm with you, man. But listen, for all the talk about beginnings that you mentioned for Carolina here, there is one end, and that is Baker Mayfield as a viable starter in the NFL. I don't see him recovering from this, buddy.
When PJ Walker looks better than you, man, it's hard to argue with that, right? That's just one of those situations where you say,
things that make you
don't know. Yeah, things that make you go, what? So
it's okay. That Progressive commercial will save him, right? With all that extra insurance he's got.
Didn't he have 2 ads too? Right, there you go. He'll have to give the keys back to both stadiums, I would think. Anyways.
Yeah, it is what it is. And also, guys, if you want to hang on a few more moments, looks like we have another game we can go ahead and discuss quickly. And I'll let you guys pretty much tell me your thoughts on this one since I kind of hogged the Panthers-Falcons one. We've got the Giants, the New York Football Giants, and the Seahawks.
I mean, 2 teams that I couldn't have told you were going to be as well as they are right now. I mean, honestly, I truly did believe Seattle week 1 was winning their Super Bowl, but yet here they are sitting at 4-3 on top of the NFC West. You couldn't have paid me money to make that pick. You couldn't have. So, I mean, obviously, Pete Carroll's got something right with Geno Smith. I think Geno Smith obviously was the right call, and then just kind of correlating it to the trade. Right now, Seattle looks like they're getting out of here like bandits because the way I see it, if the Seahawks keep winning and my team keeps falling, Seahawks may very well make the playoffs and still have a top 5 pick at the end of this. So it's not like, they're losing anything there. But, I mean, Geno's looked spectacular in some games, and obviously there's some games he comes back down to earth. But, I mean, Tariq Woolen, that cornerback, oh, my God, he has been an absolute godsend for them. I think he's at either 4 or 5 picks already on the season, and that's leading all rookies right now. So, I mean, credit to Seattle and what they've been able to do. But, I mean, on the flip side, you look at the Giants and what Brian Daboll has been able to do with Saquon, with Danny Dimes, and just making it work as well as he has. It's going to be one of the best games of the week, in my opinion. I actually think it's the only game where both teams both have records over 500 as well. So it may very well be the game to watch. Granted, I don't know how many people will actually want to tune in, but I know personally, if I can find a way to watch a little bit of it, I'll tune in for sure.
Hey, listen, I know it's Halloween time, but you know something that's scary? How good Geno Smith's been looking as a comeback player of the year candidate. Listen, other than Travis Etienne himself, I might vote Geno ahead of that. And listen, for all the talk I want to hear about from Pete Carroll and being a coach of the year candidate, you know why he can't do that, guys? Pete Carroll's a defensive coach, and his defense is awful. Hear me here. This is why I stuttered. Geno Smith in the offense is carrying this team. What? DK Metcalf being possibly injured to miss this game might be the biggest problem they have. I'm not sure the Giants have enough offense. And listen, Wendell Robinson, he looked great when I covered him in the Citrus Bowl when Kentucky faced Iowa. But listen, I don't think he's quite enough to carry the entire team on offense. Oh, wait, they got that Saquon Barkley guy. And now the makings of an offense here. It's going to be on Danny Dimes to not make mistakes. I think Geno makes this a shootout, and he wins the day for Seattle, personally.
Gonna have to take the Giants, man. I think these 2 teams that are on amazing, unprecedented, definitely unforeseen runs as far as just winning a lot of games and, like you said, being over 500. But I think we're looking at a team that just knows how to win. Somehow with Daboll, they found a way. They found their mojo. I think they know what they're doing. They're getting back some of those wide receivers that they've been missing. So now they had more targets. They're able to do a little bit more in the passing game. Saquon Barkley, of course, is Saquon Barkley that we always thought we were going to get now. Daniel Jones looks way better under Daboll than he's looked at any other point in his NFL career. That defense is solid. And if our Giants rep was on, he would give you the names of their ends and their defensive players and tell you how great they've been playing, and he's not wrong. I think that Seattle will make it a game. I think Seattle's game for most of the games this year. A lot of people are shocked by that, me being included. But I just feel like this week the Giants just have that little extra edge, and I think they're going to pull this one out.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you've still got DeMarcus Lawrence over there. Xavier McKinney's having a good season. Adoree Jackson's been spectacular this year at corner for him. So, I mean, that defense, they're doing exactly what they need to do, but they're coming up very clutch. Looking at the Baltimore game a couple weeks ago, they needed to make the stops, and they were there. They stopped Lamar Jackson cold. And then, Kyle, kind of looking at your guys' game last week, they came up clutch and stopped. I forget who made the catch. I think it was Kirk, but they stopped. Yeah, like they stopped him within a half yard. So, I mean, they almost fit the mantra of bend, don't break. And from what I know, I don't think anybody on their defense is missing. Kayvon Thibodeau is freaking a speedy little guy. Because I didn't know that he was that fast, but holy crap, he can run. So, I mean, end of the day, if they can stay healthy, I'm kind of feeling the same thing. I think the Giants could end up going 7-1 after this week.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch, but I would definitely believe that that's what we're going to see happening after this game this week. So, gentlemen, I definitely appreciate you guys for, hanging on here with me and going over a couple of these other matchups.
Of course.
Definitely good luck to both of you guys this week. And again, don't forget to hop by on YouTube just so everybody know where to find you.
We got you.
Thanks, Cole.
All right, guys, and see you next week.
All right, see you next week, bud.
Douglas, what's going on, man?
I mean, come on now. I mean, it ain't nothing changed. When I show up, the crowd goes wild. What's going on?
Crowd goes wild.
Up?
I hear it, man.
What's going on?
I'm good, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing just fine, man. Things are what they are, and on to the next week. Bottom line.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I mean, you guys got to win this past week to make the division 3-0. Of course, we were on bye, so everybody in the division got to win. So I actually enjoyed that because for years we've heard that the NFC East is the NFC least and we're bottom feeders and all those things, but I don't believe those words can be used to describe the division now. And that does bring me a sense of happiness because I like to rub it in the face of everyone else as they did me for years.
Oh, of course. Well, it's kind of hard, if you're going by the Bill Parcells rule where they say you are what your record is, then nobody has nothing to say. It's really that simple. But the truth be told, it was a lie from the first place because last time I checked, when the New England Patriots won the AFC East, when Brady was there for all those years, please, were the Buffalo Bills competitive? No. Were the New York Jets competitive? No.
Nope.
Were the Miami Dolphins competitive? Nope. So when we talk about the worst divisions in the league, everybody just forgot about Brady. I guess that's because New England would put championships on with that, but it was a lie from the beginning. The NFC East was never the worst division in football, for the last 5-6 years. That belonged to Brady.
I agree. And I'd also throw in the NFC North, who have been the Packers and 3 other teams pretty much for a long time.
When your division is over by week 8, I mean, come on now. It's nothing to talk about. I mean, come on now. It is what it is.
I'm with you, man. So we're on to this matchup you got this week with the Chicago Bears. So Douglas, I know you're well versed in football. So what do you think, if anything, the Bears would be able to do to defeat you guys? And on the flip of that same coin, what do you guys need to do to ensure that you secure another win?
The way that Justin Fields would have to play like the NFL MVP in order for him to beat us. It's just that simple. Because although I have respect for David Montgomery and the other kid that they had back there, David Montgomery is more of a plowing type running back. They would have to. They looked good last night. Actually, Chicago did look good last night. They played, no doubt, their best game of the season. But that's really fool's goal as far as I'm concerned, because all the other games, Chicago didn't look nowhere near like that. Maybe it was the bright lights of Monday Night Football. Everybody step up their game during that time or when they're on prime time. And Chicago looked good last night. But that's not. Justin Fields got hit so much this year that it's unbelievable. The offensive line is not good. It was kind of camouflaged last night because they ran the ball so much and were successful in doing that. That's how you beat the Dallas Cowboys. You got to be able to run the ball and be consistent and committed to the running game. That is the only way that you're going to beat them, because if you got to have your quarterback drop back and pass, you're going to be in trouble, because my defense is lethal, and it's only going to get worse for people. We got guys that are just still kind of figured out. Sam Williams is one who exploded in the last couple of weeks. We just picked up a big defensive tackle from the Raiders today. He may play Sunday, but you're not expecting a lot from him. Still got to learn the system. But as far as my defense is legit, I just don't see how we're just going to let Justin Fields have an all-world type game. That's what it's going to have to take for them to beat us. As far as we go on offense, Dak is back. Should be better than he was this week, coming off 5 weeks. As long as we stick with the game plan of running the football like we've been doing, don't try to make Dak the MVP of the league. Just do what we've been doing. We should be just fine. I see another win coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say definitely, agree with your assessment. Chicago did surprise a lot of people last night, including myself, of course. But like you said, sometimes you just have that one good matchup where things just work out for you. You have that one time we just kind of real hype, just ready, and everybody just plays a little bit more than their normal talent. It felt like that's definitely what happened last night. But I think just Sunday is definitely going to be them coming back down to being the normal Chicago Bears. And I would anticipate, based on how you guys have played this year, Dallas being able to definitely secure a victory this week.
No question. I don't think it, but just like New England found out last night, you can't count on nothing. So we got to come out with the same hunger and same passion and hit somebody and play with the same fire. Justin Fields is a problem if you let him become one. That's what the goal is going to be. We know he's going to run the ball. You just better make sure you just don't let him get hot while he running the ball. He's going to make some plays with his legs. You can't shut that down the whole game, but you can't let him go the whole game where he just flat out gashing you like he did New England last night. And I'm quite sure Dan Quinn will not let that happen. So I'm not worried by no means. We're going to put Chicago back in their place just in case they come to Dallas acting all hype and stuff. So we're going to put them back in the cage, shut them down, put them back where they're supposed to be. Just that simple.
Definitely makes sense, man. Well, Douglas, man, I definitely appreciate you, hopping on, talking Cowboys with us as every week. And, make sure you hop in the chat, let everybody know where they can find you. And definitely, well, not the chat, excuse me, but YouTube. And definitely, man, look forward to seeing you next week and good luck on the game.
We'll see you. And as always, in parting, as I leave, well, not everybody, but the crowd leaves. You know, y'all stay. The crowd goes wild. We're gonna holler at you. Appreciate you, cool, for having me on the show, bro.
Oh, no problem, brother. Appreciate you for getting on. All right. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do something a little different here. We did have our New York Football Giants rep hop on here with us. Even though we did talk that game a little bit, we'll give him an opportunity to speak. And we're also going to keep things moving at the same time by discussing the Dolphins game that they'll be having with the Lions. So we'll talk a little Giants, Seahawks, and a little Dolphins, Lions, and we'll tie them in together because that's what we do around here.
I actually like this idea because the Giants are way more interesting than the Lions. So, I'm a Dolphins fan, but as an overall sports podcaster, the Giants have been one of the best stories in the NFL this season. So I'm happy to share this moment with them.
Sorry about that.
Absolutely. So, how are you guys both doing today?
I'm good. I was just watching the grandson right quick. So
understood. So, Wise, we'll start with you, man. Talk to us about this Giants team and what they're going to need to do to beat this Seahawks team this week.
This 6-1 Giants team. Yeah, it seems like this.
Giants.
Yeah, it seems like a dream. Nobody thought the Giants would be 6-1 at this point. Everybody didn't think much of this team. I didn't really think much of this team. I was happy with some of the picks in the draft. I wasn't.
Yeah.
I was like, who expected Daniel Jones to play the way he's playing? He doesn't turn the ball. He hasn't been turning the ball over. Had 100-yard rushing. Had 200 yards passing. Then you have Saquon's back. Saquon's been the best running back in the league right now. It's just I don't know. I'm speechless, man. Like I said, nobody would have thought playing the Ravens, playing the Packers, that we would be 6-1. But I'm excited. Seattle, but this upcoming opponent, Seattle, who's actually leading the West, which is a surprise, with Geno Smith leading the way. My thing is go after Geno Smith. We have our defense. See, this is what I keep saying. This Giants team is old school to me. They run the rock and they play defense. We have a defense that bends but don't break. I think the most points we've given up was the 20-something points we gave up to Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Everybody else has been 20 or below. And this is what New York football has always been about. So we've always had a great running game with a great defense. That's when we had the championship seasons. That's what we had. Tiki Barber. We had, even when I was growing up back in the days, we have Otis Anderson. We had Roddy Hampton. This is what we did. We ground and pound, and then our defense was there. And that defense is Dexter Lawrence is playing out of his mind right now. He's one of the best defensive linemen right now. Leonard Williams is coming back from injury. The rookie got his first sack and a strip. That secondary is Love, McKinley, all these players that you don't really know about. You don't really know their names, but they're playing great.
You should know them by now.
Yeah, definitely
should know them by now.
Yeah, I'm surprised because, like, as someone, like, my wife's a huge Ravens fan, so, like, I watch basically every Ravens game, intensely. And towards the end, I thought, Wink Martindale had run its course. Things had kind of moved on from him. It's been really impressive what he's done with this Giants defense. Like, they're always around the ball. They're ferocious. They play with an anger. That's what I like about this Giants team. It's specifically they play with an intensity, with an anger, with a suddenness, and what that means is they think they can win. That's how you build that in a team. That's what's been so fun to watch about this Giants team, is that, like, you don't feel that it's hopeless. Like, you feel that they believe they're going to win the game, and it's transformed into wins. It's been awesome to see. And I think they finally, I assume it's a new coaching staff. I don't watch them as close as you do, man, but I would imagine that like they've kind of figured out how to use Barkley. I think a lot of people for years have been like, yes, we understand he's a running back, but basically he's just a great offensive weapon. And I think they've kind of figured out how to get him some space. It doesn't always have to be between the tackles with him. Like, he's going to beat the first guy. Like he's going to beat the first guy. So like limit the number of guys in front of him. If you can reduce the number of guys in front of him to one or two, then he's going to win that. He's going to win that matchup every time. And so it's been fun to watch him, become the player that start to, reach his potential because of it's really because of game plan or whatever. He's not stuck in a box anymore. But the Giants have been fun, impressive, and what they do is sustainable. That's the good thing about this Giants team. What they do is sustainable. Like this can carry over week to week to week. It's not a fluke.
And that's what the team goes. They take it game by game. Every time you speak to one of the players, they all say the same thing: is we're 1-0. We're 1-0. So they take it game by game. They've bought into the system. We finally have a head coach in Brian Daboll who knows what he's doing. We've had some really shitty coaches the last couple of seasons. Joe Judge is a special teams coach. Before that, Pat Schumer was a offense coordinator playing as a head coach. We finally have a head coach. We finally have someone who knows how to inspire his team to play, to run through a brick wall for him. Because anybody on that team will run through a wall for Brian Daboll, because that for him and Wink, they're like two peas in the pod. One is just the offense, the other one's on defense. But they both love the game of football. They both know how to get the best out of the players that they have.
Yeah,
in their
you just
system.
said that's what I was going to bring that up. It feels like instead of trying to force players into you get a coach,
roles, force them into roles that they're not accustomed to. They build the system that fits the players that they have in place
and lets them go. Yeah,
I love
to see that.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, just for those who are watching, we'll welcome in Sid to the show with us.
All right, look at this, man. Things are
What's
really
up, guys?
Things are really turning our way.
Hey.
Hey, Jeff, to talk to us about the Dolphins, man. Tua came back. I was a little skeptical about him playing again so soon, but talk to us about the game, man.
And rightfully so. But again, I've said on your show, before, it's like I gotta all I can do is trust what they've said. If they tell me he's healthy and he's out there playing, I gotta kind of put it out of my head and being like, I gotta trust everybody involved, especially him, that things are okay. Most impressive thing last week, that game turned into kind of a mud fight. And that to not score for two NFL teams to not score in the second half of a football game is ridiculous. Miami came away with the win. I'll say this. Luckily, Pittsburgh didn't have a veteran quarterback because they needed a few feet on a pass to win that game, but they didn't. So Miami gutted it out. But what I liked about what Tua did last week, he was playing pretty quick. He was playing fast. He seemed to be sharp, which is a good thing. I hate to say it, it's cold, but coming off a concussion, you want to see, as your player, does he feel like he's seeing the field? Is he aware of what he's doing? As far as him running and taking hits, that's Tua. He's probably done it since he was 5 years old. You're never going to take that out of him. It is what it is. But I liked how he played quick. I think Jalen Waddle and Hill are about to figure out, they're about to figure out this combination, how to really utilize these guys. I thought Tua didn't have a great passing game last week and really could have exposed that Pittsburgh defense. And, whether it's the layoff or whether it's the concussion, whatever it was, the second half, he kind of really stalled out. But Waddle and Hill were open a lot. And when those two are open, if they have any space around them, it's a possible touchdown. And so I feel like they're about to start tapping into that. I love some of the stuff they did with Mostert, which I thought was a great offseason grab. Kind of implementing some of that stuff that the San Francisco 49ers did, that they brought over with them. So I like that. So there was a lot of positives out of a game that really wasn't pretty coming down to the wire. And I think going into this week, they're going to play in a dome. this is, against the Detroit Lions team that has kind of regressed every week. They started off really, really sharp, and they've just kind of backed off every week. A lot of it's because of personnel. A lot of it's because of injuries. A lot of it's because their quarterback is who he is. A lot of it's because their head coach is who he is. I mean, whatever you think of the guy, like, his teams kind of max out early
It's
on
kind
momentum.
of, as far as Detroit though, they've kind of gone downhill since they lost Swift. Swift was a big blow. Not having Delonte Swift running the rock, to me, has been a big blow to them, because he was a big part of their offense. Yeah, he was a big part of their offense.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
to lose him has really set them back, because
and St. Brown,
and St. Brown as well. Yeah, they've been
suffering. That's what I said. Like, it's
been the injury's been key. Yeah,
Goff is not. He hasn't proven to be a quarterback that can overcome that. Now, the Dolphins are hurting in the secondary. So luckily the Lions, their weakness right now is honestly on the edge at wide receiver. So that's good, because that secondary is there for the taking. But I think this week in the Dome, on the turf, it feels like a Hill and Waddle show. And Dolphins I think they're roughly favored by like 3. But if Tua is sharp at all, I think this is one of those to where, you got a Detroit team that's probably about ready to, like, figure out what they're going to do next season. I hate to say that, you know what I mean? I'm not saying they're giving up or anything, but, like, you start losing all these games in a row. I'm sure it weighs on you. And I think this is Dolphins, got that momentum going, big Sunday night victory over, whatever you think of the current Steelers, to go into Pittsburgh on a Sunday night. It's a big freaking deal. They got all the momentum, and I think this is a game to where the passing game can take off, and Miami could possibly finally, for the first time this season, actually put a team away, before in the third quarter. Maybe. I don't even. It's the NFL, though. We all know that we're all wrong about every game.
Look at the Bucks and Panthers proves,
right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah, guys, definitely appreciate you guys hopping on. Love talking about all 4 teams. Definitely hop in the chat, guys. Let everybody know where they can find you, and we'll definitely have you guys on next week. And good luck to both of you this week.
Thanks a lot, cool.
No problem.
All right, cool. Peace. Later,
guys.
All right, guys. So got a matchup here that we'll just have me and Sid do a quick breakdown of, and that's going to be the Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings. So, Sid, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Oh man, I tell you, this right here, this should be a good game. Actually, I don't think it'll be necessarily a high-scoring game, but I do think it'll be one of the more interesting games of the weekend. I mean, Minnesota, it looks like they're starting to find a groove. They still got, Jefferson over there, who's the best receiver in the league, but it's the best receiver against the DeAndre Hopkins. I feel like he was the previous, past 5 years before, DeAndre Hopkins was the name out there. He was the Justin Jefferson. So it'll be a good game. Definitely think it'll be a lot of fireworks, a lot of throws and a lot of passes. I mean, but I do think Minnesota's going to come out with this one.
Yeah, man, you'd have to say based on how well Minnesota's played this year, outside of course, I guess the Eagles, they should have a good chance at victory. Houston does look like a different team with DeAndre back. Newt just brings a lot to that team. Just his ability to kind of go to Kyler Murray and say, hey, look, man, this is what I'm seeing. This is what you need to be doing. So he brings a lot of veteran leadership. He's a powerful presence in the locker room.
That part.
But having said those things, man, it's going to be hard to beat Minnesota. And I don't think that Arizona is going to be able to do it. This game is in Minnesota. So I'm going to say Minnesota wins at home.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to say Arizona looks more like the team that we anticipate them being every year that they haven't showed us yet, because you got their healthy DeAndre Hopkins back. You've got Robbie Anderson. You've got weapons. They've still got one of the best tight ends in the league in Zach Ertz. So I think that they have enough weapons to make this game interesting. But I just see Minnesota as, they go 4 deep at quality wide receivers. And we're stopping the line at Jalen Reagor just so anyone's questioning where the line stops at. But So they've got, some quality guys at receiver. And I think Minnesota with the run game as well, because even if you have Dalvin Cook go down, Alexander Madison comes in every time, it just goes off. So you have the perfect setup to get a win. I think they're slightly better on defense. And I think with similar offenses, that's going to be the difference in the game. So I'm also going to say that Minnesota is going to grab, a win in this game. But hey, as we were just saying, half of my picks are wrong.
Right. I just feel like Arizona is just a little bit more undisciplined than the Vikings. And that'll prove to be the deciding. I don't know. But like you said, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good observation, definitely.
Mhm.
So we'll hop on to our next matchup. And we've got our lady solo again. I don't know what's happening. They just don't want to see her.
Man.
Val,
What's the
what's
Raiders
going on?
anyway?
Oh. I can't even laugh, man. We hurting too, bro.
Everybody
Man.
hurting. Except for the Eagles, huh?
We'll see what happens this week, right?
Yeah, the Eagles still sitting pretty. Went on bye week chilling.
Chilling.
Right.
Chilling. So Val, so we got
Yeah.
we got the Saints team, and I like the Saints, but I
Who
have
dat?
this side of me that's just like, bruh, if you want to have a bad year, just go ahead and make it this year. Get yourself a better second, third, fourth, et cetera round pick so we can get that nice first rounder, and everyone could be happy, right?
I guess, man. No, they playing like it. They playing like we didn't already offloaded the first, so it is what it
Yeah,
is.
I do appreciate
They
that.
playing like they don't want to play no more, man. I swear, these turnovers is killing us. Like, I feel like we keep throwing pick sixes. Like, it seems easy enough, but we throw in pick sixes like it's nobody business. And every game that we've thrown a pick six, which is probably like 3 games so far, we've lost by 1 score. Stop throwing pick sixes, bro. Like, what the hell?
Dalton is
But man,
Man.
we got bigger problems, bro. Like we just it's bad. It's hard being the Saints fan right now. Like our defense is struggling, and we up against Jacobs this week, and he's having a pretty solid year as far as running backs are concerned.
Yeah.
And we haven't been able to stop the run very well this year at all. We just lost another starting corner to IR. Yeah, we hurt. We bum squad right now. Like the Saints facility is like a rehab facility right now. We have so many injuries. It's ridiculous. And then we don't even know who's starting as quarterback this week. I don't know if Jameis is ready. No one wants Andy Dalton again. This guy stunk up the joint last week. It's like, and they don't want to start Taysom Hill as QB because he's really not a QB1. He's the gadget guy. He's not the starting QB.
That is very true.
It's just like, man, we in a bad position right now. It's terrible.
But there is good news for you. There's good news for you.
It's the Raiders.
You play the
On the other
Raiders.
side, you have the Raiders who have their own set of issues. They have all the talent on offense, but they have their own
They're in
set
the
of
up and
issues.
up. Haven't they won their last 2?
They have, but
They
No,
the Raiders.
no, 2 of
No,
their
they
last
lost the
3.
week before last.
Yeah, they lost to the Chiefs, but by barely. The Chiefs
Yeah.
barely beat them. So I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's the right matchup
they
to
got
have
the
come
issue,
in.
but we got a history of I don't know, just completely pooping the bed when it comes to playing another sorry team. We make them look like we make sorry QBs look like all stars. Because I don't know, like it's frustrating, honestly. We have a 2-4 record. Luckily, I would say luckily, the NFC South is garbage. We're still we're in last place in the division, but we're still 1 game behind. So that speaks a lot for the sorry division we're in, which if any one of the teams in the NFC South can get their ish together, they're gonna make the playoffs by having the terrible record, but they're gonna be in there.
the Giants did it
Yeah,
The
they very
Giants
much
did it.
did.
twice.
Exactly.
It can be done.
But we got between here and now, there's a lot the Saints got to do to just get it back together, man. They said in the media, Alvin Kamara had like a little come to Jesus meeting in the locker room after the last game, and he was basically like, I don't see him chewing them out because he's just not that type of guy. He's real laid back and chill. I feel like he spoke up, but it wasn't like a, getting in anybody's face or anything like that. He basically is just tired of the lackluster play, I guess. But I mean, I guess it was needed because Dennis Allen ain't doing it. I mean, I don't know. Somebody need to get in somebody's ass. It's crazy.
I mean, those things happen. There's not a lot you can really do about it, right? It's just what it is.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Still ride the wave, be a fan, and hope for the best.
But who do you think? Do you think you guys are still going to be able to get a win?
Me being a fan, I always think we'll get the win. But
that's fair.
I say we'll get the dub, but it'll be 7 points, maybe 3. Whoever wins the turnover battle, I'll say that. Whoever wins the turnover battle will win this game because no team is playing. Both out of these two teams, no one's playing lights out. So whoever is gonna win the turnover battle is gonna get that dub.
I can definitely see that. That actually makes a lot of sense. So Val, good luck this week. I think y'all have a 50-50 chance. That's all you can really ask for, right? Make sure you hop in the comments. Let everybody know where they can catch you. And definitely good luck. And we will see you back next week.
We'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
All right, so it looks like we got another me and you. Right. Your mama and your cousin too.
That's one. Was it Patriots Jets?
Yes, sir.
Oh man, this right here is going to be interesting.
It is, man. Tell us why.
I mean, the Jets are hot right now, but I mean, the Broncos showed like they're not hot. You know what I'm saying? Our defense essentially shut them down, but our offense couldn't score. And I mean, the Patriots have beat them 12 times, the past 12 times.
Mm-hmm.
So there's history there. And that was with Mac Jones too. That's included with Mac Jones too. That's not just, it's mostly Tom Brady. But but then, the Patriots, they got blown out. Was it Sunday? They got dusted, man, and by the Bears. Or Thursday. Wasn't that just when was that? Last night, Monday.
Yeah, it was last night, yeah.
Man, I'm high. But shit, they got dusted, you know what I'm saying? And nobody knew what was going on, you know what I'm saying, with Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi. Nobody knew that Bill Belichick was going to put Bailey Zappi in like that. It felt like a college game, playing two quarterbacks, and feels like Bill Belichick doesn't know what he wants to do. Like he wants Mac Jones to be the man, but Bailey Zappi's playing better than Mac Jones. So there's that little bit of controversy right there, man. But I mean, the Jets, they do look decent, man. But I don't think they look great. Like I said on my show Sunday, man. Like I don't know. They have to show me something. Like they're a great young team. They have a squad for sure. Like they drafted some really good players. You know what I'm saying? Sauce Gardner is gonna be the man. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna have something on lock, but they gotta show me something. And they got to beat the Bills first, man, like before they do anything. So, you know what I'm saying? Well, I guess they don't have to win the division, but they may still have to go through the Bills, and they ain't beating the Bills. But at the same time, back to this game, like, I just think with that history, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know Robert Saleh is a new coach, but I just feel like it's like the whole Waterboy mentality, the coach from Waterboy, and they look across the field. And, you know what I'm saying? The coach was talking trash to him, took all his plays and stuff, and that's how Bill Belichick is to them. So, Bill he knows the Jets. He knows how to play them. It's just a matter of which quarterback comes out to play and, whether he has Bailey Zappi from the beginning of the game or the second or the third or the fourth quarter. You know what I mean? Like, so we'll see. I think it's going to be kind of boring, but I think the Jets are going to pull it out, though, finally.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think the Jets are going to win this game. I think to make another reference to your Waterboy reference, which is one of my favorite movies, by the way, I think at the end when you saw him picturing the other coaches, the little puppy, he was going. I think that's what
That's how it's gonna be. Yeah, because they'll finally beat him. You know what I'm saying? And like, it took Tom Brady leaving and all this controversy. I mean, Mac Jones is hurt. You know what I'm saying? He was hurt Monday night, and they're coming back on the short week. Like, if he's not 100%, there's no need to play him. To be completely honest, like, I mean, I guess they're playing for a wild card spot, but you might as well just play Bailey Zappi and let Mac Jones get 100% at least, and then go from there, man.
Well, I say, man, do whatever floats your boat. If you are New England, because I don't think there's a way you're going to win this game. The Jets are surprising. They're another one of those teams that are.
Well, Breece Hall just got hurt, man. So
hey, they just did something though. They just did something.
Oh, signing
did a thing.
Who is it? Robinson.
James Robinson. He is going to eat there because he was not being used correctly in Jacksonville.
That's true.
He's going to come in there and bring a veteran, angry running back on a contract year. Oh.
Yeah. On a good team, what a good, hungry young squad. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Jets they just gotta beat somebody first.
This is their week.
Didn't they beat Miami without Tua?
I believe that was the case, yes. But this is their chance, you know? This is your chance. You got your opportunity.
I mean, it's not really.
Take advantage of it. But, hey, man, I mean, the thing is, you can't control if the other team has injuries, you know?
That's true.
So
that's true. You got to come out and win those games. So that is true.
It's still the mental battle that they got to fight to win that game. But I think they're going to do it. We're in agreement on that one. For once, the New England Patriots are going to be getting their just desserts, I hope, and I'll enjoy that if it does.
Watch, they'll find some way to win like 22 to like 17 or something.
If that does happen, I'm going to be so disappointed. But hey, as long as the Eagles win, I'll be happy.
Who y'all playing?
And speaking of the Eagles, we are now bringing on our guy, Mr.
Renegade.
How's it going, Peyton?
What up, bro?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It is definitely a tough season for Steeler Nation.
Hey, I'm a Broncos
fan.
Tougher
season I anticipated.
Yeah, I think it's a good. I think it makes sense. I think it's our time to go back into the lab for a while and retool with talent. I think we got away. 18 was saving us for a lot of years. I mean, 7, not 18. He did 18 years, but 7 was saving us for a lot of years. And that retirement, it hurts, man. It hurts.
I get it.
We're good. We're a good young team, and as soon as we fire Matt Canada, we should be fine.
So I'm going to let Sid ask the questions on this one. And I'm going to, I guess, be stepping in as the Eagles rep because our Eagles rep was not able to make it tonight.
Okay.
I think he's going to be a little biased, but we'll go from there.
Look, I have no comment for that statement.
All right, man. Well, I guess we'll just start off with the easy one. Pay, man. I mean, tell us, what can the Steelers do to pull off the upset in this one?
So we're coming together. We're getting better, I think, every week. What we did to Miami, they came out strong, but then we shut them down the second half. So Tyreek Hill, Waddle, they didn't score the entire second half, right? So, I mean, they came out, home game, 2 was back. Everyone's feeling good. They put it on us. We made our adjustments, and we was moving. If our DBs knew how to catch a ball, we could have 4 picks, right? We could have set us up to easily win that game. But because for some reason they just can't catch, I don't, it is what it is. And Kenny's looking better each week. He throws picks. He makes some rookie decisions. Now, it is what it is. If we could slow down that turnover, win the turnover battle, we got to keep, QB1 from running around out there with, that Eagle QB, man. They got such a tough team, it's hard to figure out what to take away. But I'm still a fan of it. It starts with the run, right? We got to shut down that run and put some pressure on them and see what and contain them. It's a lot. It's a big ask. But the benefit that we have is we play Lamar twice a year, every year.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not a new dynamic for us in the sense of he's good, but he's not Lamar, right? Lamar is one of a kind. But he's definitely good. We're used to a running quarterback with a running game. That throwing element, y'all AB over there, he's that's going to be a big one for us, right? That's going to be a challenge for us. And that's our only hope, man. And Kenny can't keep throwing the ball everywhere, but he still gets tricked. They can still the Sky's defense is on him that he hasn't seen yet, and he's aggressive. So I love his aggressiveness. He's like a Ben Roethlisberger. He trusts his arm. He trusts what he sees. But right now, it's leading to picks. Right.
You don't see everything, I guess.
Yeah. Kenny Pickett is throwing picks,
Yeah.
But that's fine. Hey, Peyton Manning threw 22 picks his first year.
You got to
Eli
start
threw
somewhere.
somewhere around 18. We'll take it.
There you go. Well, shoot, cool. Question for you, man. How do the Eagles, how do they keep from taking a week off, so to speak, coming off their bye?
So historically, Philadelphia has been a strong team after their bye week. A big concern for me is I think we're getting everyone's A game, right? Because we're the last undefeated team. Everybody wants to put that one where their zero is, and rightfully so. If I was on the other side, I'd be the same way. I think it's a matter of execution, making sure that we get in, making sure that we run the ball, making sure that we don't allow Pittsburgh to dictate what we do. If Pittsburgh decides, hey, we're going to stop you from being able to throw the ball as much as we're going to force you to run the ball, or we're going to stop you from running the ball and force you to throw and make Jalen Hurts your only viable option running the ball, that could present a problem because we all know, and if you've ever seen my show or you heard me talk about the Eagles on here, we're not very good in the second half so far. So if you can stick with the Eagles in the first half, the game against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago was the first touchdown we scored in the second half all season.
Dang.
So that second quarter, we're like legendarily dominant in the second quarter. But unfortunately, the game is 4 quarters, not 2. Yep. So Philadelphia has to find a way to continue to play. This is an interstate rivalry. Pittsburgh is coming to smack us around, put their foot on our throat, and do everything they can to get a win and make a statement. Because beating the 6-0 team is how you make a statement. Mm-hmm. So it's being prepared for what Pittsburgh is going to do and being ready to counter it. If they can do that, we have a good chance of winning. If Pittsburgh is able to control the game, putting big Najee Harris out there and running people over, because he's back now, right, Peyton? Yeah, he's back. Yeah. So put big Najee Harris out there and let him run people over. Control the time of possession, cut down our ability to get the ball and make plays in our dominant second quarter and force us to play a 4-quarter game. I mean, it may not work, but if I was on the other team, that would definitely be my strategy, having watched Philadelphia and what they've done so far this season.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
so, Peyton, what's up?
No, I was going to say I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Keep that offense over there sitting down.
Speaking of that,
you should want to do.
Speaking of that, Peyton, what is the one thing you see on the Eagles team, whether it be on offense or defense, that you hope to see the Steelers exploit? Maybe like their weakness or something they don't do as well.
Oh man, that's tough to say that about a 6-0 team, right?
Yeah.
There's not too many holes. The one thing I hope we can do is run the ball. If we could get if we could get Najee and Jaylen Warren, and we could move, and we could win first down. If we could win first down and stay in 3rd and short, I think we're good at moving the ball that way. We don't really have big, big splash plays. I'm not sure what type of defense Philly runs. If they run a Tampa 2 type, or if they run in the zone, however that defense is. But if our wide receivers can't get down the field, it really doesn't matter. We need to win off of play action. I think Kenny's good at play action if we could get to moving the ball running. So we got to get 3 or 4 yards on first down. That's a tough ask. But that's how we stay in games, right? We have to make the game ugly. It's not going to be pretty from our end. We got to get Philly to play ugly like us, AFC North football. that NFC East football, right? Where they're throwing the ball all over the place. We need you to get down and grimy like we play in the AFC North and see if that presents some issues for them to play in that style. Because styles make fights in these games. It's in a rival, but we don't see each other that often.
That's true.
So when we do, and now this is the first time they're still getting tape on Kenny. They're used to Ben. That's so now we're in a different category. We got a whole different team that Philly hasn't seen. And there's not a lot of tape on them this year. So we'll see. And if our defense could stand up and hold up, I just wish we had, TJ Watt back. That would be a big difference. But we're picking up and we're playing pretty decent right now, defensive-wise. So no one's really killing us outside of Buffalo. But we'll see. We'll see. Philly has the tools to do the same thing. And if you get us down early, we don't have the magic yet to come back. We can't score over 10 points, it seems like, a game.
Seems to be most of the league, man.
It's tough, man.
Hey, it's rough out there. Well, I mean, you're up on your mountaintop over there, so of course.
Yeah, you talk about it's rough.
Yeah, right. You can tell us how rough it is.
Listen, we got a 1-game lead. That's it. We not on top of no mountain. You know what I'm saying?
Surprisingly have a hard division.
The Giants is right behind us. Slip up one time, all you want.
But your schedule looks very favorable for y'all. I'm looking at the teams that could possibly even give y'all trouble. I think we're one, definitely, and then it's the Giants. So do y'all see Dallas again?
Yeah, we got Dallas again. We got the Commanders again.
Heineke might be a problem for y'all. Heineke might be a problem for you all, but those are all winnable games.
It's still early.
The only problem that Washington's ever had was Carson Wentz at quarterback. I've said that.
They had a lot of problems, though.
That's the main one. You saw this past week. You get rid of that guy, and you see the team play a lot better. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but y'all look pretty good coming up. I mean, we still have another game with the Bengals. We still got the Ravens, and we still got the Browns. We got the Ravens twice, and then we still got the Browns. So that AFC North. I mean, they're not that far from us. We're 2-5. I think they're 4-3. So 2 games back. But they still got to beat up on each other. So you got the Browns and the Bengals playing this week coming up.
Yeah, so, it's still early. It's still early.
Yeah, so early. And we got to bye after the Eagles, which I think is definitely something we need to retool, refocus, get healthy. And I believe TJ will be back after the bye. So now we're getting all our pieces back, and I think we'll close strong.
There you go. That's what you want to see. And, yeah, man, we got a lot more football to be played. So, we'll see where we're at for sure. Well, hey, Peyton, man, any Super last Bowl, thoughts on the game?
We're going to beat them. We're going to give them their first L. In a close fight. We're gonna beat them. 21-17, man. So they're gonna overlook us because they got that division game coming up next, and the way that we just lost to Miami, they're like,
"Sir, we don't have a
cakewalk."
We don't have a division game. We don't have a division game coming up. Sir, we have the Houston Texans coming up after y'all.
Oh, so they definitely gonna overlook you.
So there's no reason to overlook y'all. The next team we play is the Houston Texans.
They sleepwalking these next few weeks.
Yeah. I thought it was Washington. No, it is Houston.
Sir. It's the Houston Texans. So we are not overlooking y'all. Between y'all and Houston, we're definitely going to be focusing on you guys.
Yeah, well, maybe hopefully y'all don't focus on anybody, and y'all just got out to buy. Y'all still lazy from that time off, and we'll see if we can come through and give y'all this L.
Hey, right? Hot takes all around.
Hey, I'm not
Amen.
crazy. Someone said I was crazy. But yeah, I appreciate it. I'm just a fan, bro. I'm just a fan.
Exactly. Hey. Nothing wrong
Well,
with
thank y'all as
bro.
always for having me on, man. You know, I appreciate it. Sorry I missed last week, but I'm here. And I'll see y'all after this Philly game, man.
It's all good, man. Hey, don't forget YouTube. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I'll see y'all. Take care.
Yes,
All
sir.
right. And now we have Mr. Turn, the AFC South himself, Mike Patton. Mike, what's going on, man? I think you're on mute, bro.
I'm still trying to figure out,
There you
what
go.
kind of mathematical equation that Peyton was coming up with to think that the Eagles were going to lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm just trying to
Hey,
figure out.
man. Any given Sunday. Any given Sunday.
Yeah, any given Sunday and a few Hail Marys.
They all get paid, bro.
A few Candymans, a few Bloody Marys.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
It's a
sir.
rivalry game,
little
too.
few poisoning and all that might be necessary. But yeah, Mike. So another matchup for you. I consider all matchups big matchups, So this game here against the Texans, man. What do you think? We got them next week. Think maybe they're going to be overlooking y'all, looking towards that Thursday night matchup with the Eagles?
No, because this is a rivalry game. For those that aren't aware, the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers before they became Tennessee Titans. So there's a lot of Houston Texans fans that are old Houston Oilers fans that don't like the Titans very much. So with that being said, they're going to come into this game, and it's always a tight game when the Texans and the Titans play, especially in Houston. So I expect a close game and a pretty boisterous game in this one. You never know with a Lovie Smith defense.
Makes sense. So what is the biggest concern for you as a Titans fan going against this Texans team?
Well, if I were a Titans fan and I'm looking at this game, I'm concerned about the third and the fourth quarter. Third and the fourth quarter, the Titans are one of the worst teams in the NFL scoring in the second half. They literally were going into last game was like 64 or 71-14, I believe. They were getting outscored in the second half. The good thing was they were beating teams in the first half. That's how they got to this 4-game win streak. But other than that, that is the biggest thing for them. So, that's all I can say about that. The Titans, that's the biggest concern. Scoring points in the second half, they surely cannot do so.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense, man. You could join that club, sir. I know another team in Philadelphia that has the same issue, so I definitely get it.
Yeah, the thing is, defensively, you all are better. That's the only difference.
Yeah, that's true. But when it comes to running the ball, you guys have
one better.
You got a man back there.
I will say this: the Titans do have a guy back there, but the thing is, what is crazy this year is he hasn't had as many yards in the second half or the fourth quarter as he has had in the first half. He's getting most of his yardage in the first half this year as opposed to the fourth quarter this year, which is completely atypical of his career. Completely atypical of this offense.
And that would make sense why you guys are struggling in the second half if you're not getting that production from the guy you needed from, King Henry.
No, they're getting the production. He's actually got 3 straight 100-yard games. So you're getting the production from him.
Well, I mean in that second half, like if you're not getting as much from him in the second,
I was getting around to it.
Yeah.
Just because they're using them up in the first and the second quarter.
No, not that. What it is they don't have the strength in the offensive line like they had the last couple of years. A big loss of theirs is Roger Saffold that went to the Buffalo Bills. That's a huge loss and a bigger loss than what anybody wants to talk about. Then Taylor Lewan's out for the season. He was a starting offensive tackle. And then plus you went into this season kind of trying to figure out who was going to be the tackle on the opposite side. They thought it was going to be Dylan Ravens, but then Nicholas Petit-Ferrer comes in, a rookie, and beats him out for the position. So all of those changes kind of went those are kind of the things that have affected his production in the second half.
Definitely makes sense, man. Definitely makes sense. So we'll keep it moving along here. Any other thoughts that you have, Mike, on your game this week?
I would say this: the biggest thing that the Houston Texans can do is attack the pass defense of the Titans, especially if they can't, if they can contain the pass rush of the Titans, which the Titans are very good at getting pressure with the front four. If they can hold them at bay, then there's plays to be made because Caleb Farley and Roger McCreary have had a big play made on them pretty much every game except for last
game. Okay. Definitely makes sense to me, man. Mike, always a pleasure, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Make sure you hop in the comments so that everybody know where they can find you. And good luck, man, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we're going to hop on over to what might be our last actual matchup of the week. But we got the Washington Taylor Heineke Commanders, Carson Tommy Commanders, against the Indianapolis Colts, who are Matt Ryan-less. And I think this is a very unique matchup where without either of your starting quarterbacks, you're better teams.
I don't, for the Colts, I don't know about that. I mean, here's a guy in Sam Ehlinger who was drafted in the 6th round. So I'm not so sure that it's an improvement. I mean, he brings more to the table, and in my opinion, is a great value version of Jalen Hurts. But I'm not so sure he's necessarily the guy that's going to step in and do the things that everybody that Colts fans think he can do. And in my opinion, I think the Colts win 1 or 2 more games max the rest of the year, and we're fighting for a top 7 draft pick, I would say.
What? You still got Jonathan Taylor back there.
Well, he hasn't been used properly, though. That's the thing.
I would like everybody to win 1 more game and they think they're going to win, because I need the Saints to have a top 5 pick. So if you think you're going to win like 2, I need you to win like 3, because I need that extra win just for a little cushion for the Saints to, get that top 5 pick. Little selfish, but hey, man, I mean, if you can't look out for your own team, what are we really doing here, right?
They're trying to get
Couch Coach.
Yeah.
Couch Coach, what's going on, man? Talk to us about the legend, as you like to say, of Taylor Heineke returning, part D.
Yeah, once again, the legend of Taylor Heineke continues. It was such a great moment last week, obviously, that win against Green Bay. You can see how the players gravitate to him. Obviously, the Terry McLaurin catch and that embrace, and then also the embrace with Jonathan Allen in the locker room. These guys, he's been through wars with this team. So I definitely think he does give this Washington Commanders team a renewed sense. It's one of the things where you even can see, and I think this type of situation, I know we talked about a lot, where there is a difference between a Carson Wentz and a Taylor Heineke, where Taylor Heineke, he had that ability to kind of get out of the pocket and make some throws. It may not be the best throws, like side throws, but he gets the ball out when need be, and then coupled with a good running game. That could be definitely a formula that this Washington Commander team can win with, and can potentially get ourselves out of the basement that is the NFC East.
Oh, definitely makes sense, man. I told you all along, man. The Commanders' one issue was the quarterback, and it's ironic how another team plays better without Carson Wentz. I just want to throw that out there because it makes me happy inside. It tickles my fancy slightly. I will not deny that. But Stuart, man, talk to me about the game. What do you think the Colts will be able to do with Ehlinger in the game to win this game over the Washington Commanders?
I would hope, and I expect to see a lot of zone read RPO style, offense, a lot like what you guys run up there in Philadelphia. If I'm Frank Reich, I'm calling my old friend Nick Sirianni and seeing if he can't give us some of that tape as to what they do with Jalen Hurts, because him and Sam Ehlinger are very similar in their play style. Jalen Hurts is a better overall quarterback and a better arm, but they play in a similar style. And I think that's how this team, especially with Jonathan Taylor, is going to have to mold that offense in order for them to have success with a guy like Sam Ehlinger. Because if you don't do that and you expect him to run a drop back type of pass with Sam Ehlinger, it's not going to work very much. And just to respond to Mike there, hold his beer. Taylor Heineke is the beer guy. I mean, he's named after a beer, Heineken beer, for a reason, right? So he is the beer guy, and so he's probably handing them out all over the locker room. But yeah, ultimately, I would say that it's just you're going to see a lot. I would think you're going to see a lot of the zone read, a lot of RPO style offense.
Makes sense. So, Couch Coach, man, talk to us about your Commanders, man, and what are they going to do to try to secure that big dub this week?
Hey.
I think, and it goes back to kind of how we looked at this team in 2021, where it's kind of, I call it KIS, keep it simple. I think essentially what Taylor Heineke has to do is essentially run the football, make the throws when need be. I think if you looked at Green Bay game where there was a lot of third and shorts where he was able to either they run the ball or he can throw like an intermediate pass. And essentially what you want to do is tire out this Indianapolis Colts defense where keep the offense on the field and let the clock run. And I think also too, coupled with the fact of and now you've seen the defense kind of playing to its potential. I think definitely, we talked about as far as Carson Wentz not being there. I think the absence of William Jackson III has definitely boded well for this team. I think, obviously with him not being in the what he's really, Washington really hasn't put him in a position where he can thrive and where he like how he was in Cincinnati. So now you're seeing the defense step up. Obviously you're seeing what our front can do, and then also you're seeing what the corners have been doing as of late. So definitely looking forward to that. I think thing is just you keep it simple. You run the football, the defense, let the defense hold. And I think this is another situation where, hey, we potentially going for 3 straight wins and could potentially put ourselves in position going into the month of November at 500. So, it definitely, it was grim 3 weeks ago. And, this could be a win. It definitely could potentially help us and propel us to maybe some success in November, December, and January as well.
Fair enough. So we'll start with you, Stuart, man. Any last thoughts, last words on the matchup this week?
I mean, overall, I just think that the Colts are going to have to, in a sense, a lot like Coach said, keep it simple, right? Like they're going to have to keep it simple for their young guy, the 6th round pick, the second-year vet. And if I have it my way, maybe they should just tank. We should bring home CJ Stroud, and we should be looking to April, in my opinion. But I say that, but then at the same time, Sunday I'll be cheering extra hard for them to get the win. So you know what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't think the Colts win this one. I think they lose by 10, but that's my opinion.
Commanders gonna make that playoff run.
You got a question here for the.
All right. So all right. Oh yeah, I'm here. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Good. So I think we can. And to answer Mike's point, now if we were in the NFC South, we would actually lead the division. But I think in theory, if you look at how our schedule bows, I think we got Minnesota after this game. We got Philly. So we got opportunities to potentially be in the playoffs. I think it's, we got some playoff caliber teams that we'll be playing down the line, and that'll be a great barometer for us. And if we could get those type of wins, I think it definitely is a real possibility. And you look at now how the NFC is, where it could be a point where, and I know, that'll show my NFC East bias, but all 4 teams could potentially make the playoffs. If you look at how, a lot of teams are now like 3-4 and 3-3, and they're not 3-4 and 4-3. So it's a lot of people. It's a log jam in that position. If we can separate ourselves in the next few weeks and in the coming months, even being the last place in the NFC East, we could potentially make the playoffs, and that could happen.
It definitely could, man. Especially with tiebreakers maybe being a big part of it. It definitely could happen.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, good luck in your game. Appreciate you both for hopping on, and hope to see you guys next week. Please don't forget to hop over on YouTube and remind everyone where they can find you.
All right. See you next week.
Appreciate it.
All right. See you guys next week.
Sir. All right.
All right, guys. So we're going to transition over to our next matchup. Another solo week here for Mr. Box. Seems to be one of our guys that prefers to be alone.
I am so far 7-0 on being alone. So this makes 8-0.
All right, Steven, how's things going, man?
Not great, man. We've lost 2 weeks in a row now. Sitting a game under 500. Definitely not where we expected to be at this point. But the good news is we got the get right team this week in the Los Angeles Rams, and our division is a hot mess. So we are still very much in contention for that. And we did just make some big acquisition for some guy named Christian McCaffrey. So, although things are looking a little bad right now, the future's bright.
Still got Jimmy G.
That makes sense.
Hey, I just need Jimmy to get the ball out of his hands to Debo and Kittle and Ayuk and McCaffrey.
Anybody on the team.
Just get the ball out your hands, man, before the pass rush get it. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, man, that definitely does make sense. So the question that I have for you this week, I only have one. I mean, you may have a question said that you want to ask, but the question I have this week is, are you going to continue your streak against the Rams in the regular season? We know what happened with the playoff game last year. But in the regular season, you've owned the Rams, or you, I guess that's not a word that we should be using anymore. You, you're the Rams' daddy. Sounds more, more, I guess, acceptable than you own them, the connotations behind it. So what do you think about you guys in the Rams? Is this the week the Rams are going to get you, or do you feel like things are going to continue the status quo?
I will borrow a very famous quote from Dennis Stubblefield and say, "Same old sorry ass Rams." They did win the NFC Championship game. It's when it mattered the most. Give them their props for that. But this is a team that is also struggling mightily right now. Now, they are getting a few guys back this week. They're getting their center back, which should actually be hugely helpful for them. And they're also getting Van Jefferson back, which I think could help them out a little bit. But this is one of the worst teams in the league on early downs right now. Like, they're just not getting a lot of yardage. It's putting them in third and longs. And the one thing that Kansas City and Atlanta showed you is, in order to have a lot of success against our defense, you need to be in third and shorts, unless, you're Patrick Mahomes and you're allowed to hold the defensive line for like 5 seconds and you have the ability to throw the ball 50 yards down the field. Fortunately for us, Matthew Stafford is no Patrick Mahomes. So
he does have a big arm, though.
He does have a big arm, but it usually goes to the defender when he tries to throw it deep like that. So if Matthew Stafford wants to try to throw those bombs, I am more than open to that idea. I do not worry about Matthew Stafford converting a 3rd and 24. So
yeah, that's true. So Sid, you have any questions for Steven here?
Yeah, man. All right. So sounds like you have a lot of confidence.
I mean, this is the one team I'm always confident against. Yeah.
So if the Rams do come in and pull off the upset and Seattle wins, is it cause for panic?
Well, first of all, I'm going to acknowledge the fact. I like the fact that you said the Rams come in because we're actually playing at SoFi Stadium, but considering the attendance the last couple of times, that's basically our away home stadium. So I think you are right when you said the Rams come in, even though it's technically in their stadium.
Sure.
But the thing is, the fact that Seattle's first in this division is quite frankly embarrassing because they're not a very good football team. Okay. There's no reason why they should be first in this division right now. Is it time to panic? I'm going to say not really, for the simple fact that you're going into the bye week. You got a lot of guys that are banged up. You should be getting some guys back healthy. We'll find out tomorrow if we're going to activate Jason Verrett, which I think will help the corner depth to kind of make up for some of the injuries there. You get the bye week. That gives you a little extra time to figure out how you want to use Christian McCaffrey in this offense. So, not too much concern with it. Also, keep in mind last year, this team went to the NFC Championship game where they lost to the Rams. They were sitting at 3-5 at the same time last year. So is it time to hit the panic button? No. Is it time to get your stuff together? Most definitely. And you didn't ask, but I'll just say that the one thing I think that we need to work on the most is the red zone offense. I mean, we moved the ball against Kansas City. We were in the game at halftime. What ultimately cost us that game is we kept settling for 3. And then having the turnover when they gifted us the muff punt and Jimmy throws the interception, you have to put touchdowns up there. If they put up touchdowns, this might be a different game last week.
That sounds familiar. I'm just saying, I come from experience, from a big trading away a lot of draft picks for a player.
Yeah. Your team and mine may have been involved in a very ugly game that all of America would like to forget earlier this season. So
yeah,
I'm very familiar with both of our. I'm very familiar with both our inept offenses.
But I mean, I feel like the NFC West is always a battle, especially between you guys and the Rams.
Yeah, we've kind of switched plays with the NFC East this season. I feel like because the East is usually the team where like everybody kind of looks bad, but like maybe they're a little better than they look, and it's a real competitive division. But people have losses, and we're usually the dominant one. This year, the East is looking dominant, and we're the team who maybe we're not all as bad as we look. Maybe we are. We don't know yet. So
still early.
Yeah,
Definitely,
at least
man.
we're not the South at the NFC South, right?
That is true. So yeah, man, definitely appreciate you hopping on with us this week. We're coming down here to the last few matchups, but good luck in the game. Not that you feel like you'll need it, but good luck in the game, and we'll definitely catch you back. I think you have a bye next week, right? So we'll catch you back after that.
Yep. So
we'll catch
bye
you back
next week. See y'all back in 2 weeks, hopefully, to talk about the then 500 49ers. So. Looking forward to it.
Sounds good.
Don't forget to stop by the chat, man. Let everybody know where to find you.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. And on to the next to the last, we've got the man himself, Mr. Hats and Tats. Derek, what's going on, man?
How we doing?
Always good, man. Always good.
ESPN got y'all above the Eagles.
What's that?
Hey, man.
I said ESPN got y'all above the Eagles.
I'm not going to lie. Last week, our power rankings had us above the Eagles, too, but only because our win against another team in our power rankings, that team was higher. That's really all it was, is the team, like both teams that we beat, that the 2 squads beat, were in the power top 10 of ours. But ours was like the Chiefs were 3rd, and I think the Cowboys were like 6th. So that was the only reason those 2 flipped. But
yeah,
man, the Eagles are rolling, man. I ain't taking anything away from them at all.
Not
at all. Man, I feel like you don't have to be number 1. You just got to, be the best in your conference right now. And that's what we're holding on to so far. So, hey.
Absolutely. Listen,
things are moving in the right direction.
Nobody cares where you were in the power rankings in week 6. They care where you are at the end of the year.
Exactly. That is very true.
No, they carry you are at the end of the Super Bowl, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess.
So, Derek, man, talk to us about the Bills, man. Definitely a big win. Nice game coming up. How are the Bills feeling right now? Where are the Bills sitting at, man? Did we freeze?
Did it freeze?
Yeah, man, it froze for a second. You know how those things happen. But yeah, while getting that unfreeze going on, man, I'll just quickly say, to piggyback on what Seth was saying earlier, the Bills are definitely a team that coming into the season, most people felt like we're going to be that team. They are living up to those expectations.
I like
and,
that.
you know, they should be ranked where they are, right? There's not a, you know, Eagles fans may try to argue, hey, you know, we're undefeated and blah, blah, blah. But Buffalo's been a team that a lot of people believed in and a lot of people felt we're going to be that team the entire time. So them being a team, that's fine. You know, like you said, power rankings right now don't matter. The end of the season matters, but it shows that you're one of the better teams, and that's all you could really ask for. All right, Derek, looks like we got everything good for you.
Am I on? Can you guys
Yeah,
hear me?
you're good now. You're good now.
I don't know what happened there. Everything kind of freaked out for a second. But no, you're right. Power rankings don't matter. It's all how it ends. But you know, 1 week at a time. And this week it's the pack. It's Aaron Rodgers and the pack.
Yeah, that's gonna be it's gonna be pretty interesting for you, man. What do you think you guys are gonna do to win this game?
You know, I feel like I've been giving the pack a lot of credit this year, and I feel like it's the Aaron Rodgers goggles that you can't count the man out because he always seems to find a way. This is the first year I can remember him just not finding a way recently. Watching some tape and everything, and just watching him not trust his offensive line, not trust his receivers. You know, people breaking things down, saying like, "Hey, here's a screenshot of." Or, you know, here's a side-by-side of this receiver running the same route as Devontae Adams ran last year. It looks identical, looks the same, and he just doesn't make the throw because he doesn't trust the dude he's throwing it to. You know, getting rid of the ball quick, not making actual reads, just making the quick hot read because he doesn't think he's going to have time to make the play downfield. When you're going against the best defense in the league right now, that's tough. That's a tough spot to be in because when you don't have guys that can make plays with the ball in their hand, which the Packers have kind of proven those guys don't exist right now, or at least they haven't shown it if they do. That's going to be tough, man. I don't like the fact that it's the first time that Rodgers is a double-digit underdog in his career. I don't like that coming in because I think he's the type of dude that takes that as fuel. You know, he's the type of dude that takes that as you know, something to have play with a chip on his shoulder. I also think he's going to need more than a chip on his shoulder for this to matter. You know, the Bills coming off a bye. There's rumor that Trey White's coming back finally from his ACL last year, which means, and honestly, I don't know that we need him, despite the fact that we've been banged up all year. But if he's healthy and he's 100%, this is a good, you know, get back on and get your feet wet game because, I mean, there's not a top tier receiver out there that he's got to be like, that's the dude I got to roll with. So we're coming back healthy. We're coming back hot. We're coming back off a bye. We're coming off a huge win. I try to be humble, man. I really do. But Sunday, the boys are going to be buzzing. I'm calling Bills by 1 billion.
Definitely makes sense. Hey, man, I mean, I'm big in believing, you know, there comes times where you know, you just know that you feel like you're the better team. What's happened on the field, what you've seen from the Packers the last few weeks. I mean, you have no reason to feel any other way other than how you feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's really what it is.
Garbage.
Yeah, it's two teams trending in completely different directions. You know, the Bills, you know, the one loss is, you know, you look at it and you're like, okay, you know, I can get that. You know, whatever, it is what it was. It's weeks ago at this point. It's in the rearview mirror, and you know, objects in the mirror are far further than they appear. And the other team, it's looking like, you know, you're getting lumped. You're getting beat by everybody and their brother, and you're facing an absolute buzzsaw this week. And really, that's all there is to it. You know, Josh is fixing to have a big day. Primetime Josh is a different level too. It's a different beast. Not only are you getting us off a bye, but you're getting us on primetime, and primetime Josh has just been a different beast his whole career.
Yeah. And you're definitely hitting it on the head, man. You're definitely hitting it on the head. Do you feel that there will be any letdown for you guys coming off the bye, that you may have lost your momentum? That's a question I've been asked about us before as well. You think that's going to have anything, or do you feel like you're one of those teams that, hey, that's even better for us because now we've had a chance to sit down, get a week off, fix any small issues we might have noticed, and come back roaring?
I think it's one of those things where you look at teams that lose momentum coming out of a bye week. You're talking about teams that don't have leadership. You're talking about teams that don't have a front. You can call it a front office from the coaching staff up. That don't have the guys in place. And I read an interesting article this week. I believe it was Eric Wood was talking about it. He, former offensive lineman for the Bills, saying, McDermott's not a dude that walks around just preaching culture, preaching, doing things the right way, trusting the process. He lives it. He's the dude that there's guys that they try to talk this stuff, you hear about the Patriot way. And, now you're seeing that starting to turn a little bit up in New England. You've seen guys leave the Bill Belichick coaching tree and try to instill the Patriot way. But unless you're willing to live and die by it, it doesn't work. And McDermott's the dude Eric Wood was talking about. He's the guy, he walks in the locker room and there's a piece of garbage on the floor. He doesn't sit there and say, hey, pick up your garbage. This is our house. Treat it better and walk away. He walks over, doesn't say a word, and picks it up and throws it out. It's that leading by example. It's living and breathing what you do. And, when you got a guy like that, that's in charge of it, he's in it with the guys. He's there in the morning working out with them. He's staying late with the guys that want extra work, that want extra reps, that want to watch extra tape. He's living it. And when you got a guy that lives it at the top, and you got studs, absolute superstars in this game, you got Von Miller buying in, you got Stephon Diggs buying in. When you got guys like that buying into that stuff, you don't have letdowns coming out of buys because he won't allow it. It's just something that he won't let happen. And one of the biggest stories of that I heard from a personal friend of mine who actually witnessed this in person. It was his first year, I believe. LaShawn McCoy was still on our roster, and every year in training camp, the Bills do something that McDermott calls the greatest race. And what it is they pull every Peloton out that they have, and they get in teams of 4, and they say each team of 4 has 3 bikes. You need to get this bike to this many calories burned, this bike to this many calories burned, and this bike to this many calories burned. And the first team to do it wins. And you don't have to participate if you don't want to. So everyone who wants to participate does it. And LaShawn McCoy, in one of his last years in the league, is going as hard as the rookie trying to make the roster. And when you get dudes like that to buy into that level, it's different. And you don't get that's the type of dude that doesn't have letdowns coming out of the bye. Sorry, that was a long-winded track into that.
No worries, man. But yeah, I dig what you're saying. Definitely. I'm a big Sean McDermott fan, man. I loved him when he was our defensive coordinator in Philly. I actually had a chance to meet him when he was in Charlotte. Great guy, man. Very humble dude, man. Loved him. So I definitely see that in him. And I'm not surprised that he's having the success that he's having, because he's just one of those guys that he's always been relatable to the players and always been a guy that players can, kind of emulate themselves after, just because he doesn't feel like, you said, some coaches have this, I'm the coach and you're the player, but he's more like, yeah, I'm the coach. You all know that. So let's go out here and do what we need to do and win. So definitely love that about him, man. And Derek, man, we got one other game here to cover. So thought you might want to stay on here with us. Let's cover this last one. We've got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Cleveland Browns.
Yo, so let me say real quick, cool. I'm going to just say I didn't hear anything that Derek said in that last segment. I don't know what's up. I can't hear his sound. I didn't want to say nothing because I can see him. It looked like he going off. So
yeah, he was. Yeah, I could hear him. That's weird.
Yeah,
because I can actually hear him.
On my end, it just says speaker offline, but I can see him on the live preview.
Yeah, my thing says I'm backstage right now. So
and
that's weird. So let's try this then, guys. I'm just gonna unadd you real quick, and I'll pop you back in, and we'll see if that takes care of the problem here.
Second. I'm mad I missed it because it looked like it was good, man.
It was good stuff, man. It was good stuff. It was definitely good stuff. Derek's one of those guys, man. He always brings us a little extra something to the table.
I do my best.
All right, so we'll see.
Can
you hear him now?
All right, it says I'm on stage now too. So
yeah, I can see you now.
Okay,
I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah. All right, so we'll just have Derek hop on here. Maybe if you want to give us a couple of thoughts here on this Bengals Browns game?
I'll tell you what, man. You want to talk about a team that's kind of looking like they're starting to try, starting to find their stride a little bit. That's Cincinnati to me. Starting to look more like that offense they had last year. I don't think they're going to recapture the magic they had last year, but they're starting to kind of look like that team that, the Super Bowl, or, the Super Bowl, not the win, but going there, the hangovers kind of starting to go away a little bit, and they're starting to kind of feel themselves a little bit. Again, I don't think they capture the magic the same way. And then the Browns, man, if I don't believe all the rumors and all the conspiracy theorists out there about the NFL being rigged by Vegas, but if there's one team out there that is really trying hard to prove it, it's Cleveland, man. Nobody moves and you get a false start to take you out a field goal. I don't know how that happens. I really don't, but I really don't know what to make of the Browns. I really don't. They look like that. They hang with people, they compete, and then they can't finish. And then you're sitting there like, oh, when Deshaun comes back, is this going to be better? Honestly, I don't know. I really don't. Dude hasn't played in a year and a half. And we're jumping the gun on that by a couple weeks because he's not eligible for at least a few more. But the Bengals going the right way. The Browns floundering in that kind of purgatory I kind of expected them to be in with everything that went on and everything surrounding that team this year. Backup quarterback, Chubb easily one of the best running backs in the game right now. But I actually just got done recording another show with a buddy of mine, and we were talking about how I think it's something disgusting, like 6 of the top 7 rushers in the NFL are on teams that are struggling, and the only outlier to that is Saquon Barkley. So I mean that you can run the ball for a mile and a half. It doesn't mean you're going to win football games in today's NFL. And you got Joey Burrow, Joey Bag of Donuts, who just goes out and it doesn't matter what happens. You can hit him in the face 21 times. He's still going to find a way to hit 350 and 3 on you. And I really don't know that the Browns can hang, but listen, I say that, and the Browns might find a way to win this one.
Nah, I don't think so.
I'm going to agree with you, Derek. And you said I'm going to agree with you guys. I think Cincinnati doesn't have to be great. They just have to be good enough to win. And I think they can be good enough to win. They've got the momentum going. They also have Mixon, who, when needed, can step it up. They've got a nice trio of wide receivers in Cincinnati. And that's the thing. When you have multiple really good weapons, it makes things more difficult for a defense to handle you, unless they have multiple top-end, defenders. There's not a lot of teams that have 3 pretty much outside corners that can match up man-to-man or can help cover in zones on 3 really good wide receivers. So that's why you kind of see different guys from that team get off different weeks, because it just depends on who's the one guy that they're not focusing on. That's the guy that normally, has the great game. But I don't see Cincinnati losing, but like I've been saying all night, what I see is not necessarily what actually happens a lot of the time.
I'll tell you what, the only thing that levels this game out is I think that Browns defensive front can hit home a little bit. And they got to have a game, man. They got to, for this to be a thing that really, really sells this thing home for them. We got to be talking, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sacks, and then causing pressure that causes bad throws. And I don't know if they can do, I don't think that front can do enough to win.
Cincinnati's the team to do it against, I feel like.
Absolutely, they are.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. You'll get no argument from me. So, guys, we've completed another week of the NFL Matchup Madness.
Yeah.
Excited about this. A lot of games this weekend. We know I'm most excited about the Steelers-Eagles games. I think everybody knows that. But it's going to be some good games. I think we're looking now and we're thinking, this team's going to heavily beat this team. But this season has shown us that doesn't necessarily always happen. A lot of times who you expect to win is not who wins. It's just more about being consistent, making the plays, and winning the turnover battle. That's what's winning games for teams this year. And the consistency is the biggest issue, and that's why it kind of has come down to turnover battles in a lot of these games, or who has the ball last, because there's a lot more parity in the NFL, and that's kind of good for us as fans. May not be as good for certain owners, but hey, if you win, it doesn't really matter. It's kind of like Al Davis used to say back in the day, just win, baby. That's all that matters. Just win. If it's 1, if it's 25, a win is a win.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a week by week league, man, and everybody matches up different against everybody they play.
Absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be signing off today for my co-host Said and Mr. Hudson Tats himself. We'll see you guys next week. If you didn't catch us live,
Super Bowl
just
50,
check us
we
out.
Still got that though.
And just remember, fly Eagles fly, 6-0. Hopefully about to be 7-0. Let's go.